Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
We are back with another edition of the Lodgecast. I am your Lodge Master. With me, as always, is Brother Bishki.
Hello, happy Mother's Day.
And Brother Lucas.
Good afternoon.
And today, on this Mother's Day that was raining until the clouds parted and the sun shone down on us, we are having a guest that we've been craving this whole time, a Brother Ben Haslaw.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the Prius.
I'm excited to be here.
Today's movie is kind of a direct rebuke from Overboard, which really separated the wheat from the chaff as far as...
It sunk a lot of us. We had to jump ship.
Bishki
jumped ship.
It got waterlogged. People got
We all jumped
torpedoed.
ship.
There was a lot of crying.
A lot of questions, a lot of deep soul searching.
Yeah, we
Groaning.
We questioned our own existence after that as movie podcasters. So today we're going for something that has Rotten Tomatoes credentials. I think it's in the 90s currently.
Woo!
Yes.
Hot tomato.
But the audience is like 60. So the movie...
That's a good sign, I think.
Charlie Six-Pack don't care for it.
The movie is called Revenge. And it's
Revenga.
not to be confused with the 1990 Kevin Costner, Madeline Stowe
Oh, good call.
yarn. This appears to be, I don't know much about it, but it appears to be a French rape revenge tale. Which those
Like
special,
I Spit on Your Grave meets High Tension or something.
well, and the granddaddy of them all, Irreversible.
Oh, God. I blocked that out. I don't even think of that as a movie.
Well, I like to say, I just watched one of the great rape revenge movies on Friday for the first time, Savage Streets with Linda Blair.
Oh.
And that was a real good time. And I think rape revenge as a genre just kind of works, but it's also pretty savage.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dark. It's dark subject matter.
And I'm
And
expecting
there's
this one-
real no winners or heroes on either side.
I'm expecting this to be grisly.
But in this day and age especially, I could see the draw to try to quote-unquote do it right with the current climate that's happening.
Yeah, we got a female director.
Female director.
Oh.
First time.
Brother Ben, what do you know about this? Like, what are your thoughts on rape revenge on this Mother's Day?
Well, in terms of what I know about, I mean, I saw the trailer a while ago, and I remember it looks very vibrant and colorful, but otherwise, I know next to nothing.
Perfect.
So I'm sort of excited to see where we're going.
What is do you have a history with the genre? Have you spit on graves?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen a lot of it, and some of them I'm way into, and some of them I find very #problematic. So I'm sort of curious to see, what this is all about in the Me Too era.
Right.
Yeah.
We're definitely going into a little bit of uncharted territory for the cast today, but I think...
Is it going to be in French?
I'm pretty sure it's in French.
Okay.
So, is that our first foreign language? Well, The Devil and Father Amort, I think
That had subtitles, yeah.
could be categorized.
Overboard had subtitles,
Overboard
too.
had a lot of
That's
subtitles,
like bilingual.
We are fucking bilingual,
Global.
trilingual. We're global. We're worldwide.
And Wrinkle in Time had its own language, right?
The
true.
Yeah, we had to interpret it, but
We really did have to interpret that one. But anyway, we don't know much more, so we're going to go in fresh as daisies for Mother's Day.
Sunset 5, here we come.
We're going to smoke.
do it.
We're going to smoke some blood orange vape stick.
You know, and that's actually very apropos because the only thing I know about this movie is it's bloody. There's blood.
Bloody
So
blood
goes
orange,
with the orange.
Blood, placenta, birth, life, death.
Mother. Payback is a mother.
We're going to do it all for you.
I also had a blood orange margarita last night, which was very tasty.
This is all coming together. So
Fingers crossed on this one, guys.
love and light to you. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
are back on this Mother's Day. That was a Mother's Day film, if ever there was one.
Boy, howdy.
We are at the AMC Sundance.
Dine-in. No longer Sundance. They had to sell it to AMC.
So it's not even Sundance.
It's AMC Dine-in theater experience.
It used to be the Sunset 5.
But we all call it the Sunset 5, affectionately. Yeah. Us locals. Sunset 5.
Upon entering, I realized this is where I had seen Enter the Void.
Oh, yeah. I think I was there with you. I think I saw that with you.
There was some PTSD there, some delicious PTSD.
Definitely.
And this is a fitting follow-up to that. I think the plot's going to be pretty easy to break down today, guys.
Do you want me to read it officially?
I think, yeah.
I'd be curious what the
let's get the
synopsis
the official synopsis.
From Rotten Tomatoes. Jen, fearlessly embodied by Matilda Lutz, Rings, is enjoying a romantic getaway with her wealthy boyfriend, which is suddenly disrupted when his sleazy friends arrive for an unannounced hunting trip. Tension mounts in the house until the situation abruptly and viciously intensifies, culminating in a shocking act that leaves Jen left for dead. Unfortunately for her assailants, Jen survives and reemerges with a relentless, wrathful intent: revenge. A white-knuckled tale of transgression and transformation, Revenge gloriously blurs the lines of vengeance and survival while simultaneously delivering a ferocious dissection of gender and genre.
What? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, I'm glad we read that. Okay, I guess some of that works.
That synopsis sounds more uplifting or upbeat. But I'll take it. I mean, it's a very highly stylized aesthetic.
It looks great.
It looks amazing. Think
great.
Early Tony Scott. Like, if Tony Scott could see this, like, it would bring a tear to his eye, I'm sure.
Maybe she was referencing the Revenge. I can't remember the plot of that one. But this is about as far away from Overboard as we can get.
It is.
So thank God
the pendulum
we
swings
took
both
a U-turn.
ways.
And
it's on the other side of the globe for sure. So, yeah, the basic plot is she's in this rented house with this dude who looks like...
That's only accessible by chopper, a la Ex Machina. It's like out in the middle of the Sahara or somewhere. Like, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, the chopper drops off this woman and her beau, who's married. He's always on the phone with his wife and kid, and his kid's crying in the background. The chopper pilot gives him some peyote, like, here you go, here's a welcome present, which she keeps in her locket, which comes back later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they party at this house. These two ne'er-do-wells show up with their guns for the hunting party.
Yeah, Eurotrash.
Who are not as sexy and handsome as her boyfriend. So you automatically, there's this weird dread that these guys are not on the level.
Yeah, so they're partying, they're drinking. There's the obligatory party montage with a very interesting sort of French translated song. What was it, Ben? It was like androids
and robots dance like machines.
Androids, robots dance like machines.
Yeah.
And so she's like sexily dancing to that, which is kind of funny. But yeah, everything's very colorful. You're getting, shit's gonna go down.
There's a lot of flair in the camera angles and cuts, and there's just really, really stylized kind of
And
it's
specific camera angle. There's a Michael Bay butt cam that is
Yeah.
ever present. Like,
Yeah.
I would say 50% of the shots in the early going are just like everything's focused on this woman's butt.
Yeah.
Like everything. They mention it. They talk about how much it's like a juicy peach.
We got the male gaze in full effect.
Which, from a female director standpoint, it's like, okay, like you kind of feel how you're being led along. Like you're being almost complicit with these guys, which I don't know is really even necessary. Like, it felt really heavy-handed.
Yeah, especially with the binoculars, and he's just looking at her up and down.
And the bite of apple she takes that they keep cutting back to. There's like a lot of heavy symbolism for sure. But it's a French auteur, film, which I appreciate. It's very old school in that regard.
And you just kind of, you know what ride you're on. So you just kind of go for it. Ben, what were your feelings early on?
You know what I kept thinking of? I kept thinking of Hype Williams
Belly.
music videos. Yeah, I was thinking about Belly.
Yes.
I was thinking about Notorious B.I.G. videos because
Yes.
it felt that like that
Hyper-saturated.
very hyper-saturated,
Bright Technicolor,
cut,
like
cut.
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't not enjoying it, but it did feel very sort of heavy-handed. It felt
Very surface. Mm-hmm. Just overall for this movie, my main note was it could have been a long-form music video because there is such little dialogue of importance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take all the dialogue out and it
Easily.
would still work.
It's basically
it would still work
it's
as a
basically
sound film.
Rihanna's "Bitch Better Have My Money."
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's "Bitch Better Have My Money" like fleshed out to 90 minutes or
Yeah.
100 minutes,
Bitch
whatever
better
it was.
have my francs or whatever. So it's not surprising that her beau is away. One of the guys ends up sexually assaulting her, and the other guy doesn't do anything to help. And then her beau comes back, and he ends up being a slime bag too, because he tries to pay her off, tells her forget about it. A lot of this is in English, by the way. I would say it's like 50-50, maybe French and English.
Yeah.
Which she does not accept, and he hits her, so now she's alone with these 3 super creeps. Then that's pretty much the end of the plot, as it were. She tries to get out of there. They're freaking out because she was going to tell people about what transpired. And then the movie becomes what it is for the rest of the movie, which is hyper, squirm in your seat,
Grizzly.
Painful.
Grizzly,
like palpable,
Yeah.
visceral, muscular, sweaty, just gory. And the gore has a very like casual, almost like, mundane quality, like where it's unflinching. I mean, it really is horrific. Like, it gets right under your skin.
So it all kicks off when they've cornered her against a cliffside. The guy pretends to call the chopper back so she can leave, but in actuality, he just shoves her off the cliff, and she falls and lands directly on, like,
A dead tree.
Which impales
that
her.
breaks her fall so she doesn't crack her head open, but, like, yeah, it impales her.
through the abdomen.
Yeah.
And we see it. We see that impale through the abdomen. I would say it gets at least 5 minutes of screen time.
Oh my god!
It's a crucifixion. I mean,
Yeah.
it is
Oh,
epic.
God.
It is
Well, and
absolutely
then that was
epic.
the other thing that it started to remind me of. And then I was like, the excruciating agony of
Yes.
it all turns into Passion of the Christ.
And then,
it just turns
yeah.
into like Mel Gibson's like weird fetish for close-ups of
Anguish
blood and
porn.
gore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she burns the bush, which is more,
Totally.
biblical.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like baptism by fire. But for the movie, narratively, she has to burn the tree in order to weaken the base so it'll snap and
she
fall
can snap
over.
off of it.
And while she's doing this, there are like ants like crawling all over her, and
Crawling
it
into the wound.
It just gets
Blood
like it just
ants,
gets
yeah.
to you on a whole
So-
other level because you've never seen anything like it in this bright, saturated, like under the sun color.
It's so nasty, and I can't tell if people were walking out. People were
There
leaving
seemed to be a
and
lot
coming
of
back.
there
Well,
seemed to be a lot of walkouts.
There was definitely 2 walkout. A couple. First, there was a couple that I thought was walking out, but then I think they went to the bathroom in tandem, and then they came
they
back.
like left together.
But then there was a couple that was definite walkout.
Yeah.
And that was
That was a little bit later.
a little bit later.
But so basically, she gets away. They track her. It becomes surviving the game.
Cat and mouse, very much.
But with 3 guys instead of that was one of my main points. Is like it would have changed the recipe, but I think it would have helped if there were more pursuants. There's 3 guys, 2 of which you don't believe in their abilities very much.
Right.
they're a little sloppy and yeah.
So
not
like,
sharp.
why?
And you also have the desert, which doesn't give you a lot of room for
No.
plot points.
But I think part of the, I don't know, charm is the right word, but part of the effectiveness of the movie is that there are these kind of long expanses of nothing really happening. Like people just kind of looking out over the desert. Where is she? Let's split up. No, maybe we shouldn't. Well, let's do it. Punctuated by just hyper gore. So it's like without those stretches, does the gore hit as hard? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
It was definitely a thought that I had because and then you start thinking about like Kill Bill Volume 1, where you literally have 88 murders
Exactly.
in a row
yeah.
in the climax, but none of it hits quite as hard. I mean, because like you were saying, like the intensity of the gore and the level of the gore.
There are 5 people in this movie, including the chopper pilot, who you only see in the first minute.
Yeah.
So like, it's very contained, even though it's out in the fucking boonies. I don't know.
My stomach's upset still.
Okay.
But
yeah,
There
like
are many
I said,
parts where I had
like,
to close my eyes
it's
and cover
effective
my ears.
when something actually does happen. Oh shit! It fucking happens.
Yeah, like she wears these really cool sparkly pink star
The
earrings.
pink stars.
And like one of my favorite moments in the film where I knew I was in was when she successfully kills her first victim and gets on his little ATV and she's gunning it like before dawn and it's like super dark, but then there's like a little glimmer of her earring that later gets blown off, like, you know, when her ear. I mean, it was just that was the kind of stuff that I appreciated. There was like these little flourishes that were just epic.
I was most excited to see this because of those earrings. I'm like, those earrings are hot. They are right to use them in all of the marketing.
Yeah. No, it was iconic. I mean, it really was a simple kind of retro 80s glossy look.
Looked great. But yeah, she remains scantily clad throughout.
From start to finish.
The butt cam continues. She kills one of the dudes. And then it's time to tend to that gaping wound in her abdomen that was caused by that fall. You got to suspend pretty much all of your disbelief.
Yep.
Yeah.
She crawls into a cave in order to deal with it, and thus begins the salad dragon scene.
yes,
Yeah.
which there was moments.
There's
moments.
two.
There was 2, but there's moments I closed my eyes for. But I knew we were entering Salad Dragon, so I kept my eyes open the entirety of the Salad Dragon.
Yeah, basically she survived the fall by keeping the dead tree branch inside her body, so the wound is somewhat sealed, so she's not bleeding to death. So she actually has to like walk and ride the ATV and travel a great distance with a fucking branch sticking out of her.
Now, just in case for some reason you're tuning in on this episode and you don't know what a salad dragon is, salad dragon scene is the scene in the movie where we know we're at the right movie. Something so bizarre or like crazy happens that it becomes kind of the nexus of the lodginess of the film that we are watching. So, and it all goes back to Reese Witherspoon in Wrinkle in Time, obviously. So she's killed her first kill. She's taken all his equipment with her. She's got a really cool kind of T2 Linda Hamilton shotgun situation going on.
With the bandolier with the shotgun shells like around
it's a good look.
her broad crusted chest.
It's a good look. So she's laying down by this fire and just giving up hope.
The pain's too much.
The pain is too much, and then she remembers what's in her locket, which is the peyote. And we are treated to a quite worthy successor to the Young Guns peyote scene, as she takes it and starts flipping out, and then getting that glazed over look as she looks into the flames where you know it's taken hold. And shit's about to get weird.
She performed some autonomous surgery in a cave
with that same kind of
childlike wonder of innocence. Yep. Like everything is brand new and it feels good. Or I mean, yeah, it was a very effective narrative device that I think worked. I mean, to me, it made sense and like it worked.
Ben, describe this surgical procedure as best you can.
So she takes her big ass hunting knife. She's tripping balls.
Yeah.
She has built a fire, so she sterilizes the big-ass hunting knife. And then she proceeds to cut into a beer can. And she flattens this beer can, and she basically uses that. She heats the flattened beer can to cauterize, I guess. Like, she starts pulling the thing, like the tree out of her in excruciating...
Real time.
Blood is just pouring.
Blood is pouring out, and then she takes this flattened beer can that she then cauterizes the wound with, and then continues to have fucking insane trippy dreams.
She wakes up like 900 times, and there's like different ways, like, oh, it was just a dream. She gets her head blown off. She gets
her head blown off twice.
But
they're both like these surreal hallucinations, and it just totally messes with your mind.
But the key to it is on the beer can.
Yes.
the design on the beer can is just branded onto her flesh, and it says "Made in Mexico beer" or something like that. Mexican-made beer. And then there's what appears to be a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Rising from the ashes.
So which they dwell on. They're like,
pretty sick.
Look at
It's going to be a Halloween costume this season for sure.
That's what I was thinking throughout as well. Is like
sure.
maybe before she rips off all her clothes, it's going to be popular with that blue shirt and like a pink star earring. That's kind of all you need. And then just cover yourself in blood.
Yeah, dried blood.
Just dried blood. That's going to be a great costume. But anyway, so she emerges from the cave. Salad Dragon Scene 1 is complete.
She emerges from the cave now a warrior. Like, she is strapped and locked and loaded and like much healthier. But she's still in her bra and underwear and barefoot.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem to affect her at all.
She's like in a tiny James Bond-esque diving suit.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So at this point, you're supposed to be like, fuck yeah, badass. Mm-hmm. But for me, at this point, it really became apparent that we don't know who the fuck she is. Which I know for a movie like this, it's called revenge. It's like you're on rails, like you know where it's headed, you know what's going on, you know there's going to be bumps and twists in the road. You don't really need super character development, but there just was none with this woman. Like, what do you guys know about this character?
Not very much.
Nothing.
And yeah, unlike, let's say, You're Next, where they kind of give you an explanation of why she's so like skill oriented. This, it doesn't. I think it's more
we know all we know is that she wanted to move to L.A.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
So
those hopes were burned.
But then she becomes Commando, Rambo, and Furiosa rolled into one.
Yep.
Okay, so that's just something you just gotta go with. It's not the kind of movie that cares.
Yeah.
So she moves on, and then she gets there's a lot of just traveling around in the desert, nothing going on, nothing happening, and then she finally encounters the mini boss, the second guy,
the guy who did the rape.
That brings up our second Salad Dragon scene, which I think everybody in the theater was yelling during this part. I know our row was. People were like, "What the fuck? Come on!" Yeah. And it is a doozy. They're having a tussle. They've taken chunks out of each other. She shot him and winged him in the shoulder. He shot her and blew her earlobe off.
Was there some teeth somewhere? No, I guess it was just her earlobe.
I think he just blew her earlobe off.
Like teeth, anyway.
So he's pursuing her, and she's a brilliant warrior. She cracks her flashlight on the side of a rock, raining down glass shards. Of glass. He has taken off one of his shoes so he could have his sock to create a tourniquet, and of course he runs right over the glass and gets a huge gash in the bottom of his bare foot. So
like Home Alone, but like in real life, I feel like it really happened.
It was hitting Ben pretty hard. It made me think that he has experience with glass or something.
No, it's just there's just something about the bottom of your foot.
Yeah,
just like how tender and vulnerable
soft,
that is.
So soft.
And they are showing this insane gash, and he is digging. Just the noises
deep.
and and we are just in close up.
And the actor's doing a great job.
Well, and that was actually something that I did sort of appreciate is for how intensely gory this shit was. The actor was sort of going a little bit over the top, doing a little like Looney Tune face.
He was the comic relief.
It did sort of turn into Home Alone during that, and I think that's a good thing because I legit was wondering if somebody in the audience was going to pass out because just the levels of gore and
keeps
sound,
going,
and it just keeps going and going, and people are moaning, but she's sort of like tempering it with Home Alone Looney Tune vibes.
A little bit. I'll give you guys a little bit of that.
No, he was just doing that crazy, like he's doing eye bulging and and he's making puffy face, and I don't know. It felt a little Joe Pesci.
He was
Home
making
Alone.
puffy face.
Yeah.
And
the best detail was he gets back in the car and he's hitting the accelerator, trying to get the clutch. The clutch rather. Yeah. Trying to get the car to going. Every time he hits the clutch, blood just pours out of his foot. And the audience they were laughing, and
the audience was with it.
And it was.
But what was like the most painful for me in that scene was when he is like trying to get the glass out of his foot, but it somehow gets pushed in
Yes,
deeper, and so
yes.
he has to actually put his like hand into his wound, like into the bottom of his
fishing.
foot.
He like fists his foot
Yes.
twat.
Yeah. I couldn't take 2 salad dragons. I might have closed my eyes during that part.
I
Okay.
definitely was closing my eyes
Yeah, it
at
was
certain
intense.
scenes because it was way
intense.
intense.
I didn't close my eyes for shit.
way
That was great. But yeah, like the prosthetics and the effects are really what sell what are gonna make this movie memorable for
Yeah.
people in the future, I believe. So yada yada yada. She dispatches that guy, shoots him through the face as he's driving at her, and then it's time for the showdown. It goes on for so long. Like, again, it's like there's not enough dudes after her to fill in the time, and like you said, Bishki, like it's a desert, so there's not much to do.
Yeah.
You get the boyfriend coming back to the house, taking a shower, and then walking around naked. He gets his butt cam.
Yeah, he gets his female gaze
Well, he's like,
turned
we
on
reversed
him.
it.
It's
Yeah.
reversed that you
And
see his
and it
dick.
dwells on him. You see you see everything.
You see
and,
everything.
And you are just, tables have turned.
Tables
Hunter
have
has
turned.
become the hunted.
Yes.
Which, again, like, I don't know if it fully works, because it's like, then why isn't she in, like, a sharp pantsuit at this point? Like, they're both basically naked at this point.
It's primal, yeah. It's
I guess.
definitely
Yeah,
savage.
yeah, all right. So she has him dead to rights, pointing through one of the stylishly colored lucite windows.
Yep.
And thus begins the kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith War of the Roses
Yeah.
domestic battleground scene at the end. The dude, when he comes in, he's dirty from being out in the desert and sits down on the white couch. There's like he gets a little stain on
Yep.
it. And I'm like, no, bro, don't stain that white couch.
Yep.
That's nothing compared to what's about to happen. So,
There's more blood spilled than is in the human body. Like,
by far, it's
Yeah.
like,
It's a bloodbath, literally.
It
like
is.
white walled room,
Yeah,
covered,
it's like this
covered in blood.
chic,
Just buckets of
minimalist-
blood, finger painting of blood,
Yeah.
like
there's
someone
like an inch of standing blood.
like the Manson
on the
family,
ground.
partied there for like a month.
So, Ben, describe what you're thinking during this scene and what's happening during this scene.
I mean, but that's the thing for like the giant climax of this entire thing. I mean, they are literally running around in circles
Yeah.
through this house, just chasing and dodging and chasing. But it just becomes a giant bloody circle, which I understand. That's her broader point,
Right.
I guess. But I don't know. It didn't feel.
Didn't feel
super-
big enough.
It didn't feel big enough.
Right. Well, I said to you, like, they're gonna do something to his dick.
Oh, right. At one point, he leans over to say, his dick, yeah, something's going to happen to his dick.
I thought for sure it was going to end back at the house, but somehow, yeah, she was going to push him off a cliff and he would land similar to her, except there'd be like, an anthill that would eat him alive, like
Eat
slowly.
his dick.
Like, yeah, like something, yeah, where the tree branch grows through his groin or something. It would. I was really expecting some kind of circle when they went back to the
Sure.
house, and I was a little crestfallen when I didn't get that fall.
She just blows him the fuck
Yeah, she
away.
Oh, well, but actually, I did forget. She fingers his stomach wound.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We have like a, she penetrates him.
Yeah.
one last time before blowing his fucking head
That
off.
rhymes.
Yeah.
Then she just kind of is done, and then you get the title, and then that's it.
Yep.
So yeah, like pretty simple story-wise, obviously. So what we're left with is the style and the gore, and just I don't know, the efficiency of the filmmaking.
Yeah.
So Bishki, what are your thoughts on this movie overall?
very high quality filmmaking. Very looked great throughout. I enjoyed the music generally.
I thought she had a little iPod that she was playing with that I thought she was going to keep and then maybe like listen to some, songs during her agony,
A hallucination,
which didn't happen. I mean, she heard music, but it wasn't real.
There was some good,
I
there's,
thought that was a little bit of a missed opportunity.
yeah, but there's good classical music cues, good electronic cues. The music I enjoyed. This kind of violence, which probably started with Kill Bill Volume 1, which is kind of the brutal violence, kind of gets to me. Like, I don't go see torture porn.
Sure.
Usually I don't.
Well, it's out of style now too.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, and especially in this movie, like, because there's not enough going on in the desert,
Right.
like the grisliness takes over, like what could have been maybe character development
Sure.
or plot, kind of. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 bones.
Okay.
I think in terms of direction, I think it's very good in terms of what could have been. I mean, the violence and stuff. I mean, I'm still a little bit shaken up in terms of my stomach.
What are you gonna do to counterbalance that?
I'm gonna go to Veggie Grill in the Sunset 5 complex.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Have a wheatgrass shot or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Clear it out. Lucas, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I had no awareness of this film at all until I got in there, and thankfully, from like the opening frame, I felt we were in good hands. So like right off the bat, like from the opening shot where the choppers, it's like a static establishing of the desert, and there's like this chopper way deep in the background, but you can hear it, and it's slowly coming towards camera, and it's coming towards camera, and it's coming towards camera, and then boom, it like flies over the camera, and the camera I think does a hard tilt up, and then it just smash cuts to the title. And I just thought, wow, this is easily 2.5. And then it kept kind of going up from there for me. You know,
really?
Then it was like 3 bones when she, you know, lit the tree on fire, because I was like, oh, this isn't going to be as simple as her just kind of like getting up or rolling over. It was like I appreciated how they kind of drew it out, where you know, she's getting off the cross, like right when the guys are like at the top of the cliff looking for her, and she has to like lean against the bottom of the cliff to avoid them seeing her, and like there were things like that. So by the time I got to her riding that ATV at like just the break of dawn, and
you were lubed up and ready,
and you see the pink reflection of her earring, I gave it 3.5 bones.
Whoa.
And I was hoping it would get to 4, but it never quite did, because you're right, by the time she kills the second guy, it's like not as good. Like, I don't know, it just felt like, you're right, like there should have been more guys, or maybe a different setting would have given them more opportunity to shoot some different things. But
like maybe if there was a village out there or something. I have no clue where they were. But
Yeah, I agree. But by the time we got to the showdown, I was fatigued. Like, I was really over it, and I didn't want to have this drawn out like chase sequence that they kind of had throughout the bloodbath of a funhouse of horror. But by the end of it, I was exhilarated. I mean, I was squirming in my seat. I was sinking in my seat. I was turning away. I was covering my eyes. I was covering my ears. And I really appreciated the, like, peyote aspect of it, because I felt like there's no way she would have survived that had she not taken it, and had she not branded herself inadvertently with this, like, Mexican cerveza, like, Tecate can tall boy. I thought it was like a Monster Energy drink, but apparently not. But no, I give it 3.5, man. I'm
surprised.
There's a lot to like about it. I mean, it reminded me of like early Tony Scott, which is unusual.
Is it making you want to take peyote more or less?
I would say more, just because it gives you the resolve and the reserve to like do what you need to get done.
It helps you accomplish tasks.
Yes.
Brother Ben, what do you got?
I would give that a 3 bone.
Okay.
I thought it was efficient and entertaining. The filmmaking was really, really solid. I mean, I'm sort of curious to go, everything. Well, I didn't read that much about it. I didn't know that much going in. But, there's all this stuff about how it's sort of a feminist or female response to rape revenge. And I just don't know that. I don't know that I got that at all.
I didn't see that.
And so I'm sort of curious to read someone make a case for that, because I don't really see that.
It seems like the gender politics of it seem the same as they were in I Spit on Your Grave, Ms. 45, Kill Bill.
I mean, the only thing I can say is it doesn't really linger on her rape, which was nice.
True.
So I do think there was maybe some more sensitivity.
But on her butt,
but
like,
yes,
like, so, like, you guys don't understand how much butt cheek shottage is in this film.
Well, we got a lot of his butt too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is there is some equal opportunity nudity?
Yeah.
So
I guess
that could be, but aside from that,
it didn't subvert any of that.
Yeah, any like real intellectual stuff going on. I don't know.
I don't think so.
That wasn't there for me.
I think it's just a fucking meat and French fried potatoes revenge movie.
Yep.
I'm right there with you. I'm at a 3 boner. I think that if if there had been even just like I don't need her in the cave, like taking a diary, you know, to learn about her. Like I don't really know how we would learn more about her. Because she has no one to talk to. I guess if she hallucinated like a little like leprechaun or something.
Well,
and
she was having the visions of the lizard. Like if she had started
just,
a dialogue with the lizard.
If she could just talk to an iguana.
Yep.
Maybe we could care about her a little more, but I just didn't give a shit, so it became like Rambo 3, which also has a cauterizing scene for the ages. You just turn your brain off after a while, and I think that's unfortunate because there was so much going for it. It could have, like, a little bit of development on her side could have really pushed it up for me. But
yeah, that would have made it 4 if there was, like, a setup that was paid off emotionally and dramatically related to her backstory, like her dad taught her hunting or blah, blah, blah.
But as it is, it's just kind of like it's a freak show and it's a fun romp. But it's not... I don't think it's like an all-time great.
I think it would have been kind of funny and ironic if, like, when she was saying, well, why do you want to go to LA? And she's like saying, well, I want to accomplish something. I want to do something great. And then, like, at the end of the movie, you know, she kind of does, like, by butchering these guys.
Right.
That would be, or something like that. But yeah, there's nothing. There's really no, like, even when she kills her final attacker, it's not... It's not as triumphant as it should feel, you know.
I really think any depth beyond, like, you know, effective grisly effects is going to be a projection from what people want to put onto it, which is fine, you know, whatever. But it's not gonna get 4 bones from this Lodge Master. But I think in time, like we're fresh from the desert right now, but like. In time, like, all of my issues about its you know, expanses of nothing happening are going to telescope down, and I'm just going to remember the visceral thrills of it, and I think it's going to age well. I think people are going to discover it.
This director's one to watch, too. I can't wait to see what she does with a bigger story or more budget.
And I think everybody within the sound of our voice, especially Lodge members, if you've listened this far, we haven't ruined it for you. You can't prepare yourself.
There's no words that can spoil this movie. You know, even what we just said, everything we just said, we're missing so much more of the soundtrack and the sound design and impact. I mean, it is rich and illustrious.
The fact that bizarrely throughout the entire climax, there is a Home Shopping Network ad blaring for, what was it?
Such a French move. So blasé.
Yeah.
Shop America.
Shop USA.
Shop Discount.
Shop Club USA.
Shop Club.
Scusa.
With these two kind of model girls repping it, and I think that was...
That might have
nice
been
touch.
That might have been part of the financing too.
Oh, absolutely! They were literally like there were insert shots of the website.
They're giving you URLs.
Yeah,
and it is so bizarre, and I kind of loved it. Like,
I did too.
Strange choice, but the movie is full of little things like that, where especially if you are super stoned or experimenting with peyote, like I expect Brother Lucas to do by the end of the month, you're gonna have a great time. Like,
it's a thrill ride. I mean, look, with the absence of story, which I'm all about, as long as you can kind of deliver some adrenaline rush, I was literally leaning forward at the edge of my seat at a couple points because it was just that intense.
I saw that, and I thought you were doing that to keep yourself awake, but I'm pleasantly surprised.
Are you kidding? I was like, I felt like I was tripping. Like, it does feel like the movie feels like a bad acid trip for sure.
Yeah, in the best possible way. That's revenge, guys. We got revenge today on this beautiful Mother's Day.
Payback was a mother.
Payback was a mother. We should recommend this to all our mothers. If my mom was in town, I would have loved to have taken her to this just to see how she would have computed it. Brother Ben, it's been an honor and a blessing and a pleasure to have you, and I hope you come back.
I cannot wait.
Watch those coming attractions, and if you see something that looks spicy, that makes you want to get back in a hot Prius and discuss it with us,
yes, sir,
you let us know and we can make that happen.
I will be there.
In the meantime, love.
Light.
Lodge.
Well done.